That bad lighting. Good morning. It's still morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Story time is here. Good morning. I'm going to let a few more of y'all come up in the room. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Okay. So people are in the room. So let me just tell y'all something. I changed my life for the first time when I was 14 years old. 14 years old. You want to know how I did it? You know what? Want to know why I did it? So I changed my life when I was 14 years old. From the age of 12 or 11 to 13, I was bullied. I was a follower. I hung out with the popular girls in my junior high school, and I was like a handmaiden, right? So I was in the club. Hey, Yvette, I love you, girl. Hey, Andre. So I was in the crew. I was in the clique. But I was the lowest man on the totem pole. I was the lowest girl on the totem pole. So yeah, I got to eat lunch with them, but I also had to go and pick up lunch, or if someone didn't have enough money, I was like the one they were like, Bev, give her $1. You know, that kind of stuff. And I just went to see Mean Girls just this week, and I was thinking about how similar so many kids have this in their lives. But a lot of people don't break out of it. A lot of people keep that same energy of being a people pleaser, of being afraid of being disliked. I just saw Devon Franklin's one-man show. He talked about the fear of being disliked and why it kept him trapped in a lot of different situations. I'm not going to spill his tea, but if you have a chance to go see Devon Franklin's one-man show, you should. But I was very afraid of not being in this clique and in this crew. And there was one thing that happened that just kind of shook me up out of my core. And it was the fact that we were doing a dance and we had all went and bought the outfits, right? And the day of the dance, we all show up with our little outfits and our bags to, to perform. So we're all backstage, and all of a sudden, one of the leading girls from the club, the Mean Girls Club, comes up to me and says, Bev, so-and-so doesn't have an outfit. Well, it was because her parents didn't have the money to buy it for her. And I was like, oh my God, that's so bad. And they were like, well, would you mind giving her your outfit? And I said, well, then what would I wear? And she was like, well, I mean, if you give her your outfit, then, I mean, you can't be a part of it, but it would be nice for her. But what was I to do in that moment? I wasn't a combative girl. I wasn't someone who stuck up for themselves. I was literally a follower. So y'all know I gave that girl my outfit, right? And she was so skinny that she had to wear clothes underneath it because she didn't even fit the outfit. But she went on that stage in my outfit and did her dance. Miss Tina has a similar story in her book as well. Y'all should read Miss Tina's book, Matriarch. So after that happened, I was like, oh, it won't happen to me again. Yes, Yvette, it won't happen to me again. So I had already figured out how to be a popular girl. And I knew it wasn't that difficult. I knew that you needed to be cute, check. You needed to know how to dance, check. You needed to have a quick wit so that you could snap on people and, give snippy little retorts. Y'all see me on TV, check. And you also need to have a little money because a big part of being one of the popular girls was having all the latest fashions. So check. My parents, made sure that we had the things that we wanted. So I had already figured out the popular girl kind of formula, but I knew I could never be a popular girl as long as I was with those girls because they knew that I was a follower. So you know what I did? Instead of going to the same high school that everyone else was going to, I went to a different high school. So in New York City, you get a chance to select which high schools you want to go to, which, you can apply to. And we had all decided that we were going to go to this one particular high school. And so when we're all talking, we're like talking about, we filled out our application and all this stuff and how exciting it's going to be. All of us going to high school together. And I'm like, I ain't going to high school with them horrible bitches. So I go along with the story that we're all going to go to the same high school. So you have to fill out an application and then you have to wait to be accepted. So everyone gets their acceptance letters. And so we're all like at the school, like excited at the lunch table. And then I say, oh, I'm not going to that school. And they're like, what? And I said, yeah, I'm not going to that school. I'm going to. And they were like, why? And I was like, well, that's just the school I want to go to. They were like, you're stupid. You're going to be there all by yourself. You won't know anybody. You're stupid. It's not going to work. Y'all know I went to that high school and I turned it out because I was no longer encumbered by this identity of Beverly, the follower. I was free to rediscover who I was and also who I wanted to be. And I was able to show up at that school as that versus showing up with all of those girls, me being a handmaiden to them. If I had gone to that high school with them, it would have been horrific for me. I'd probably still be a follower to this day. So a lot of times, if you guys see me being like really strong-willed and going my own way, which is why I love everybody, but, you know, pledging a sorority in college would have never worked for me. Some girls telling me what to do, oh, baby, I had that in junior high school. I would never have that again. I chafe at anyone that's trying to make me follow them. I chafe at just kind of blindly going where someone wants me to go because they're popular or famous or rich. I chafe at it. Yes, Yvette, change the narrative by rewriting it. Exactly. So that is how I changed my life for the first time. And then I've continued to change my life throughout my life. Today I posted this one thing from my friend Will Packer talking about your third act of life. Like people feel like, oh, it's too late. I haven't done it already. Hi, Billy. Hi, Danny. They feel like if they haven't already done it, then they'll never be able to do it. It's too late. And y'all know I believe it gets greater later. And one of the reasons why I believe it gets greater later is because I've seen how many times I've changed my life. But then I'm also a student of history. And I know great people, great artists are always Renaissance. They always have a myriad of things that they're passionate about. They always have things that they're curious about because curiosity is the best way to change your life. Curiosity. Because see, when you are stuck, when you like the same old, when you're afraid to get out of your comfort zone, whatever that sounds like to you, whatever you think that is, a comfort zone is nothing more than a cage. And sometimes it's a gilded cage. Sometimes it's a beautiful gold, diamond encrusted cage, but a cage is a cage is a cage. You can't get out of it. And so for me, changing my life continually and doing things that challenge me and scare me is really the way I want to live my life always. So I'm currently in the process of doing some new things. God's working on a new thing. And so is Bevy. And I'm really excited about it. So I just wanted to come on here and tell you guys that you have the ability to change your life as well. But all you need to do is to understand that no matter how great your life is, there's probably a few little things you want to tweak. And that's okay. But what I have found is that a lot of times, especially when we come from experiences that we didn't have the most material things and all that, if we get something that is deemed a good thing by society, or we don't want to let it go, because who are we? Actually, I have a dear friend who didn't come from a lower economic status. I have a dear friend who came from a very nice, solidly middle class environment, and she's afraid to change her life. She's afraid to shift because she's afraid of a financial deficit. And you guys do understand that half of the stuff, and I'm gonna talk to y'all real, half of the stuff we have, we don't really need. Shh, they don't want you to know that. You know that I used to be an advertising salesperson, fashion. And I want to just tell y'all something. Consumerism is the biggest hoax and scam that the capitalists have ever played on us. First of all, if you're a woman, they tell you to look at yourself all day in the mirror, but not to build you up. So you can catalog every single flaw that you have. And some things that maybe you didn't even recognize as a flaw, then they call it out for you. Like right now, I'm not supposed to have this when I do this. This is bad. According to them, I should be getting some Botox. For what? Why is this bad? This is like a human thing. Why is that bad? According to them, because I'm getting older. So if I did this, see how much better that looks? It does look better, but guess what? To the point where I need to go and spend thousands of dollars every couple of months so I can defy gravity. I don't think I'm going to do that. But this is consumerism. Oh, what about the it bag or the it shoe? What about that scam that they give us? So once upon a time, we had to have the Prada bag. Then we had to have the Dior saddle. Then we had to have the Louis Vuitton, catch-all. And now, of course, we have to have a Birkin. What's next, y'all? When does it end? When does the consumerism end? So a lot of times we are tethered to a lifestyle that does not allow us to change our lives. You hear that? A lot of times we are tethered to a lifestyle that does not allow us to change our lives. I don't believe in knockoffs. I think that's ridiculous. Either buy the bag or don't. But anyway, so I have a dear friend who has a home with multiple floors. And she just went through something. And my dear friend still owns her home, but she recently moved into a 1-bedroom apartment. And when you go over to that apartment, it is love and light. It is beautiful. It is her. It's decorated beautifully. Everything has its place. Because it's a 1-bedroom, less is more, so that she doesn't have all the stuff. And it's wonderful, and she's so happy there. She's happier there than she would be in her home with all the floors. How many of us can't quit our jobs because we have a huge mortgage, because we have a big old car note or notes? How many of us... Oh, I'll give you guys a great example right before I leave. So before I quit my job, I was 38 years old when I quit my job. And at the time, I was looking at buying a brownstone in Harlem. Okay? Now, we all know the story of the brownstones in Harlem. By the way, the $5 brownstone, that wasn't real because you had to put so much money into it. So it wasn't as cheap as all that, but they were still very cheap. Like, you could have gotten into a Harlem brownstone, and I'm talking about with renovation and everything, probably for $250,000, right? You could have got the brownstone for a couple of, $20,000 or something, had to put renovations into it, something like that. So I could have bought a brownstone, Harlem brownstone, but I was miserable in my job. I was miserable in my job. If you go and watch my TED Talk, I talk about bitchy Bevy. I was miserable in my job. So I had a choice to make. Do I buy the brownstone? Which is, I'm from Harlem. So who don't want a brownstone? And it's beautiful and it's chic and it's all the things. I can have such an amazing life in that brownstone. But if I buy the brownstone, oh, for sure, I got to stay at this job that I absolutely hate. Oh, I got to stay at this job that is crippling me. I got to stay at this job that is ruining me. I got to stay at this job that is literally the bane of my existence. Because there's no way to quit this job and maintain that home. There's no way to quit that job and pay that mortgage and have the money for the repairs. See, we all know this. You can get into a home, but can you maintain a home? So because I was grown up making these decisions, yes, golden handcuffs, I was like, okay, so what do I do? Well, you guys know what I did. I currently live in an apartment, but I have the life that I always wanted. And then also, too, I live in a very nice apartment. Don't cry for me, Argentina. But yeah, so I made the right choice for me. But a lot of times when I tell people this story, they're like, you should have bought that brownstone because then you would have had equity and you could have. Child, y'all talking nonsense. You buy the brownstone and then the company has you. Oh, I'll give you guys another quick example. At Rolling Stone magazine, now I'm going to name names. I'm going to give a thing. At Rolling Stone magazine, I was the only woman in the sales team, and I was the only black person in management. They had black people as security guards, and maybe they had a receptionist that was black. No, it was security guards in the mail room. That's how white that damn job was. So me being black and being on the sales team and having a director's title and all of it was a thing. But I'll never forget, there's two things that they did to me that I knew I needed to leave. I was always intending to leave, but when the money is good, can anybody else relate to this? You be intending to leave, but then the money is good and you be like, maybe I could stay a little while longer. Being the only is emotionally draining. Exactly, Yvette. Draining. They will take you down. So, at Rolling Stone magazine, two things happened that let me know that I was making the right decision to leave. First thing, a guy that was a salesperson, white man, comes back from paternity leave, not paternity leave, because his wife had a baby. Comes back into the office. Everyone congratulates him. The big boss comes over to him and says, now we got you. You got 3 kids. You can't go anywhere. Ha 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 ha. Like it's a joke. That wasn't a joke. He meant every word of that. If a man has 3 kids and he is the sole provider for his family, where he going? Where he going? It's a trap. I'm not saying you shouldn't have children, but I'm saying that I want you to understand how corporations do you. I'll give you another example. When I got my Christmas bonus. Now, the way I was an executive, so I knew what my bonus would be as long as I hit my number. So it wasn't like some surprise, you're getting a 5-figure check. So, and a very, very good one, by the way. So, traditionally, so I had worked at Vibe magazine prior to that. So at Vibe, when they gave you your Christmas bonus, when they gave you your annual bonus, they just gave it to you. No fanfare. So the day is the day that they're handing out the bonuses. And I noticed they keep calling one white man after another into the office, into the big boss's office. I don't think much of it. I'm like, oh, it's bonus day. They're giving out the bonuses. They call me into the office. I go in. 3 white men and little old brown Bevy. Bevy, you've done so well here. You've hit your numbers. You've really acclimated to the environment. Like, I had never worked with white people before. I was like, I worked at Vibe for 5 years. I had quite a career before I went to Vibe magazine. But okay, if you want to believe that this was some kind of social experiment, you guys let me work around all white people and it's going to be so startling for me. I was like, okay. So they say, you've done well. You hit your numbers. You've got your bonus. They hand me the envelope. Now, I'm still standing. They say, have a seat, have a seat. I'm like, they hand me the envelope. I say, okay. Thank you. I get up to leave. They say, no. Don't you want to open it. And I said, I'm sure it's all there. You guys wouldn't cheat me. They're like, no, open it. So I open the envelope, but I do this, like, like how you like kind of like an accordion, open it. I peek in. I just see the big number. I said, seems like it's all there. Thanks, guys. They say, no. So what are you going to do with all that money? I said, excuse me? What are you going to do with your bonus? Most people have plans for their bonus. What are you going to do with that bonus? And one man says, we know you like clothes and furs. This man thought I was going to go out and tear Fifth Avenue down, bust it down. Check was over $50,000. He thought I was going to go and spend over $50,000 on a shopping spree. Because I'm a what? An ignorant N-word who's not used to anything. But if I had done that, guess what happens? Then I'm trapped. Because I have no money. Because I spent it on clothes and shoes and furs. So I say to them, I don't really know what I'm going to do with the money. But I actually did know what I was going to do with the money. My plan was to get the money and then resign. So this is back in the day when there were still checks. So I get the money, I get the check, I go downstairs and deposit it. The Chase Bank was in the building. Go downstairs and I deposit it. And when the check clears, when I come back from the holiday vacation, I march into my boss's office and I quit my job. That's what I'm going to do with that money. I'm going to use it to buy my freedom. Oh, freedom. Oh, freedom. Since you think I'm a slave, I'm going to give you a Negro spiritual. Oh, freedom over me. And before I be a slave, I be buried in my grave and go home to my Lord and be free. That's what I should have said to him. But instead, when I resigned, I played Frank Sinatra's I Did It My Way. I high kicked my butt right on up out of there. But my point is this. If you want to change your lifestyle, you're going to have to forego some things. If you want to change your life, you're going to have to maybe make some accommodations, some alterations to your life that you may not be that comfortable doing. Hi, Kimberly, I love you so much. If you want to change your life, it's not going to be easy, but I will tell you a secret. It's also not easy being stuck somewhere and being miserable. Do you hear that? It's hard to change your life, but I believe it's even harder being stuck somewhere where you're miserable and you know you want to make a change, but you simply can't. To me, that's much harder. Does that make sense to anybody? Can I get an amen and a hallelujah? Get back to basics. So, this season, I'm having a really good, hi, Jed, I love you so much. I'm having such a really good season right now. I have a lot of clarity. Yes, choose your heart. I have a lot of clarity. And I have everything I need and a lot of what I want, and I actually don't want much. That's a blessing. When we get to the point where we don't want stuff. Is anybody on here like that is experiencing that? Where you literally have an opportunity to have stuff, right? Like, so if I wanted to, it's a beautiful Sunday. Once upon a time when I was miserable, this would have been a great day to go shopping. I would have torn up Fifth Avenue. Once upon a time, I got a little disposable cash or whatever, a little, I don't want nothing. A store can't tempt me. A store can't seduce me right now. I don't want what they got. I don't want, there's nothing nobody can sell me that I want. Does that make sense? There's nothing that they are selling that I want. The things that I want come from relationships, come from love, come from respect, come from devotion. These are the things that I desire. And these are the things that I need. These are not wants. These are needs. It's a real need to have intimacy with friends, with a lover, with a partner. And money can't buy that. So I get to have the privilege of sitting in a home that I love, that I've made a home for myself, that I love. And I get to have this wonderful life where I get to do work that I would literally do for free. Every single thing that I do for a living that gives me money, I would do it for free. I love you, Melba Moore. But I'm not going to do it for free. So I get paid to do it. And that's a blessing. I built this life. I changed my life and then I built this life. And I continue to build on this life. So what I want to say to you guys is, do not let them trick you into believing that you need a lifestyle that's not really ever going to bring you happiness. If your lifestyle is predicated upon how big your house is, how fly your car is, how many clothes, shoes, and bags you got in your closet, baby, that will never hold you. That will only give you temporary happiness. Happiness never comes through the stuff. Happiness never comes through the stuff. So the first way that you're going to change your life is by understanding what truly brings you joy and makes you happy in your core and in your spirit. And then you got to chase that vigorously. Okay? So that was my little musing. I love you, Melba Moore. I love you, Yvette. I love every single person that's been on this live and high-fiving me and giving me a hallelujah. I will be doing one of my Dining with Bevy Life with Vision seminars in September. So if you're interested in attending Dining with Bevy Life with Vision this September, please do me a favor. DM me with your email. And then we will get back to you with the application process, because there's an application to come to. Dining with Bevy Life with Vision is a wonderful workshop that I do. And I'm saying it is wonderful because we really do help people transform their lives. Okay. I'm Bevy Smith. This has been fun. Ciao for now. Cheers to the queers. But ciao for now. Bye, guys.